kind of a slow day today. I guess it's about 10:30. I'm sore. I'm really sore today. I worked my butt off yesterday, so I'm moving slow today. I didn't can anything last night because I was so sore. I was hurting so bad. On the job I'm on, I'm dragging 4x8 sheets of flooring all the way down the side of a mountain. Like probably 100, 120, 100, probably 90 to 100 yards. I'm dragging down the side of a mountain, literally, not exaggerating, down the side of a mountain, sheeting that the Advantech flooring that slots together. Um, anyway, to do that, and this is Advantech, what I did not know is this stuff has a notch system, so it goes together. So one piece has a male end, one end of the Advantech flooring has a male end, the other end has a female end that the male end goes into. Well, when I bought all that cheap flooring the other year, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the majority of the male end and the female end are beat up, busted up, and when you go to put it together, it don't want to go. And to get it to go, you got to beat it more to get it the gap to squeeze up. So the problem with dragging it, since I'm all by myself doing this job, the problem with dragging it is it fills that whole gap full of dirt and mud and gravel. And if you drag it on the male end, it's just knocking the edge of it off. So I got the big idea. Well, we'll just take wood, and I'll take a 2x4 or a piece of 1x, and I'll screw it in to the bottom of it to give it like a heel, like a shoe for it to ride on. So here's the plywood, here's the little foot here, and so it slides to the ground like that right there. So that worked out. I got it down the hill. As far as the stuff working good, it don't work good. It don't work good. But those 4x8 sheets are heavy. They're awkward. And I'm pretty much doing, imagine doing cross country. Remember when back in school when you had cross country runs? Imagine doing cross country down the side of a mountain carrying a 4x8 sheet of plywood. That's what I did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. And not only do you drag it all the way down, and you got to pick it up and put it where you're going with it, but then you got to walk all the way back up the mountain and do it again. So that was the fun I had yesterday. So here's the deal today. I went ahead and thawed out because I'm trying to empty out this freezer as I go. I've got that one out there. The majority of stuff that I can is out. I've got about 30 packets of sausage that I've got to get out. And can, but now I'm working on the deer meat that's in this freezer. And if you remember last year, we had a bunch of deer, so got all these jars that I've got to do. And to do that, I've got to wash these jars, and I don't really want to get into it right now. But I think I may just put this stuff in the freezer, in the refrigerator the way it is. I mean, I ain't got it's too late for me to mess with it right now. So I'll put it in there till this afternoon. And the reason I don't want to put the lids on is because once you crimp a lid, it may not fit correctly again. And another suggestion on here was when you're doing deer meat, you do beef bouillon, and I could not find my beef bouillon. One of these bags had tenderloin. This is what Brad gave me last year, and I'm telling you what, that's some beautiful meat. But yeah, I've got beef bouillon in one, and then the rest of this is just roast. That's a lot of deer meat. A lot. So I'll get all that later. Oh my goodness, I'm hurting so bad I can't stand it. Hurting so bad I can't stand it. Anyway, anybody got any comments, questions? You need to start. If you're not canning food right now, you need to get to it. Because time is running out. Russia and China are in Cuba right now with their nuclear carriers. Because here's the deal. As the Bible says, and I've told you before, They're going to destroy us. And after they destroy us, that's when they'll go. And see, listen, Russia and China knows that God has control. Now the Chinese Communist Party is convinced their people that God doesn't exist. China isn't sure of it. They think God doesn't exist, but they're not sure. You see, you got to realize these countries, they have their own completely confidential information too. So they have the CIA and they have their own, MF. They have their own secretive agencies that know a lot of stuff about history in the world. So they're going to kill us to destroy Israel. Because we're the only ones keeping Israel going, really. Because we send them so much money. But the Bible says, if you bless my people, I will bless you. So that's where we're at in that. Okay, that's all the deer. It's put up. It's gone. Now I can cook, thank goodness. Yeah. And guess what happened yesterday? What did I always tell you? That if I get more than one vehicle running, something will happen to my other vehicle. So my Ranger has been flawless the whole time my Broncos broke down. Well, yesterday, I take my Ranger up the mountain, and the brand new brake pad just breaks. I think the pad come loose from the shoe. It just, so now I have to take the front end apart on my Ranger. I got to jack it up and take the wheels off of them and check the brand new brake pads that I put on last year. It's probably been a little longer a year, and that sucks because there ain't but a year warranty on brand new shoes. Now, the guys at Advance will probably take care of me because, I do a lot of business with them, and it doesn't matter what I do. I could have 100 vehicles and only one of them be correct, and 99 will have problems. Non-stop. And it's just like, you just got to keep thanking God. And that's hard. It's hard to thank God when it's always something. It's always something. I mean, listen, people can say, well, there's no such thing as targeting. But then you'd have to say, man, you got the worst luck in the world. Well, there's no such thing as luck. There's no such thing as luck. There's no such thing as karma. Anybody even in here? Am I talking to myself? I feel like I do more talking to myself lately than I do talking to people. And it's so disheartening. It's one thing to know that you're alone at home. It's another thing when there's, 10 billion people in the world and you can't even get one of them to talk to you online out of the world. That's disheartening. Very disheartening. Very disheartening. So yeah, I'm moving very slow today. Very slow. But I've got to have some good breakfast. I've been eating a lot of sandwiches and that bread is so hard on me. Bread. I mean, we didn't have all this gluten crap 30 years ago. We didn't have it because they didn't add it to the food. But they like adding it to the food now, don't they? Gluten intolerance. Well, no, it's just the preservatives they put in the garbage food that we eat. That's why I wish I could just... There's a reason why fast food is cheap and good food is expensive. Because they want us to eat the poison. They want us to continue eating the poison. That egg is busted open, but I think it's still good. I knew it was. One good egg, okay. And 2 good eggs. Two good eggs. Yep. No, that would be good. Anyway, anybody got any questions, comments? We had, what's up, TN News? How's the grandbaby? Is it grandbaby or son or daughter? I can't remember which one. How's the grandchild? How's the child doing? The child that we're praying the cancer's cured in. How's that child doing? We had we were supposed to have somebody to come over to look at buying the house the other day. So that was supposed to be at 5 o'clock. So me and Tina spent all day, cleaning up the house. I mean, the house stays reasonable clean anyway. It's just when you live in a place for a long time, stuff kind of piles up. What's up, Eric? Stuff kind of piles up and kind of gets in the way. So we spent all day cleaning. About 2:30, 3 o'clock, the realtor guy called or texted us. He's like, "Hey, you think you can let somebody in your place at 3 o'clock to look around?" Now, we got a schedule for 5 o'clock. Grandson, chemo's treating it chemo sucks, dude. It's the most poisonous thing. Chemo's worse than the cancer 99.9% of the time. I would never do it. If I ever got cancer, I pray to God I don't. I would do every natural cure there is what I would do. I would do every natural cure possible. I wouldn't even mess with anything else. So he's like, "Well, can you show the place at 3 o'clock?" And he was like, "No, we got an appointment at 5. Why we want to change it?" Well, at 3 o'clock, some big, beautiful white Mercedes shows up in the driveway. So that's a problem. So I go out in the driveway and I start talking to the guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a realtor, and I'm working for a woman, and she wants me to find her a house, and we decided to come over here and look at this one." And he said, "Can you give me the down low on it?" So all I did was tell him the truth. That's all I did. And he's like, "Well, yeah, the woman realized she'd have to spend money on the place." I was like, "Yep, that's true. She'll have to spend money on the place." I said, "But here's the deal. You can make this $1 million house if you want to. You're still going to live next to the cartel." I mean, what am I supposed to say? And they're building, check this out, guys. They're building, and this has already been approved. They are building 17, they're building 17 Habitat for Humanity houses in that field across the street. The field I'm the only person in the world trespass from, they're building 17 Habitat houses in. Well, that'll be good for the neighborhood. No, it's not. Because you know who get Habitat houses? Not people that deserve it. No. And the requirements for getting a Habitat house, all you have to do is like 400 hours of community service, and that's what pays for your house. Well, the people that get those are people that, I don't want to judge them all, but the majority of those people are people who, well, I'll just tell you, the people that I've known they put the houses in over here on the hood, on Crack Alley, about 3 miles from here, Crack Alley. They're all, let me think, how do I say this? Non-English speaking. So in other words, they come here too and get more charity from the charitable organizations. So this place is already crowded enough, and it's already a freaking nightmare to live in. But then we're going to add 17 more houses right there across the street. So yeah, that's a problem. That's a big problem. So the guy was not very, and you could tell. I mean, the realtor was a really rich guy. You could tell that old rich vibe. The white Mercedes, the gold. That one gold ring, knowing he could feel his hands up. Because rich people don't have to show off their money. They don't have to show it off. But most realtors, they make bank, especially high-end realtors. They make bank anyway. So the woman's like, "Yeah, I don't want to live in a neighborhood like that." And I'm thinking, why in the world were you looking in Longview anyway? And then at 5 o'clock, so the guy leaves. At 5 o'clock, a woman just shows up in the driveway and just sits there for like 30 minutes. Just sits in the driveway. And Tina asked her, said, "Well, what's going on?" She said, "Oh, I was supposed to meet my realtor here, and he just never showed." And she's like, "Oh, wow." And I'm like, "So you mean to tell me the realtor that's got this house under listing has other realtors just sending their people to my place?" That's a problem. I mean, it's intrusive enough. I mean, how many people? I mean, it doesn't matter if the feds come and pretend to be buyers for the house, because the feds are already in and out of my house. But think about the intrusion that somebody's coming in your house. I don't know. Maybe you're not like that. And the realtor told Tina, he's like, well, I show $2 million houses and they don't have a problem with people being in their house, because the guy's like, well, yeah, can you guys like leave for an hour and then you can come back in about an hour after I show the house? And we're like, what? Leave? Well, yeah, but you don't want to be there while we're showing your house. I'm like, Tina's like, oh no, we're not leaving our house. What? What? We leave and then you leave and they leave and then they come back 5 minutes later after they lift the back door open and steal what little bit of stuff we own? It's a problem. Sorry, TN News. I saw part of your comment. I was getting ready to get to it. Let's see. Bone marrow is delicious on toast. That stuff will cure anything. Yeah, they're not talking about that kind of bone marrow in Landon. Talking about a disease of a grandchild, so it's probably very inappropriate. But most people on the internet don't care about that either. So it's crap. So the countdown's on. We got 3 months. 3 months. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Relying on God to figure it out. Relying on God to figure it out. Let's see here. I'll just do that. Alright, TN News. I hid the user for this channel. You're always respectful. I don't know who that is, but they want to be stupid. Just think about that. That someone would make fun of a child during chemo. That's where we are on this planet. I'm going to make fun of a child with chemo. Bone marrow tastes good. Those people only survive with anonymity. They only survive with anonymity. Because if people knew their faces, it wouldn't end up well for them. It wouldn't end up well. Because 99.9% of the people online that pop their mouths off to me and make fun of me and do all the stupid stuff they do, and I know, they would never, ever, not a day in their life, pop off like that to me in person. It's just ridiculous how evil people are. Ridiculous. But unfortunately, the world has created that. The internet has created anonymity for people who don't deserve it. I miss the good old days. And I'm telling you, in my advanced years on this planet, I really miss the way America used to be. I miss the 80s, man. I mean, I was a kid and I had a terrible childhood, but there was freedom. I remember freedom. I remember getting off school and I rode my bike to school in Oklahoma every day. From kindergarten all the way up until we left that school district. I rode my bike to school. And the fun in the afternoon was riding to Captain D's, because I wasn't supposed to, and paying 10 cents and getting ice water. I mean, it was 110 degrees in the summers in Oklahoma, but still, just the freedom of being 10 years old on my own bicycle, riding, doing my own thing. It's so disheartening what's going on in the world. But yeah, I got to put brakes on the, I guess I had to pull the front. I mean, the dangerous thing about this gang stalking and the directed energy weapons is, man, they do me especially. I can go on certain roads, I can go down that road, and I can feel, when I pass certain towers, I can feel the difference in the radiation those towers are putting off, the EMF. I can feel the difference in them. There's just one or two places going down a road where I live at, and it almost puts me to sleep because the EMF is so strong. So I'm like, dang, they're really trying to put me to sleep. It's almost like narcolepsy when I get in my truck and try to get down the road. Nobody commenting now? Yep, that's what happens. The jerks ruin it for everybody. I can't even see how many people's on here. I freaking hate YouTube. I hate it. It's so disgusting. But it is what it is. It's always the good people that ruin it for the bad people. I was watching a video this morning on, of course, it was Dan Abrams, the MSNBC lawyer, who's a jackleg that doesn't know anything that he's talking about half the time. And they were doing an interview with this Democrat representative from Vermont. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, every time the Vermont House was in session, my bag was wet. I'm like, what? Yeah, well, it was snowing, and then my bag was always wet. Well, it happened, and then I was like, okay, the snow got in my bag, and it melted, and now my bag's wet. But no, something else is going on because it's summertime, and there's no snow, and my bag's still wet. So he sets up this camera and catches a Republican representative pouring water into his satchel that hung in the public part of the house. Poured water into his bag. People are evil, man. And I was like, well, surely it must be they'll show the Democrats, they let the world know that the victim was the Democrat. But then it said the representative. They wouldn't say who the representative was, so I automatically assumed, well, it must be Democrat because they're not showing it. But the rep was actually a Republican. And listen, I don't want to be called a Republican. I'm a conservative. Republicans are corrupt. Neocons are corrupt. The whole system is corrupt. What gets me is the people are still thinking that there's a difference between a Democrat and a Republican. It's a uniparty system. There's no difference in any of them. They're all the same. It's like everybody on the right's like, oh, Donald, and really people on the left too. Oh, this election's going to be a landslide for Donald Trump. Trump's going to take it over. Oh, no. I mean, it would be a lot better thing than what's happening now. But they stole it last time. You think they're not going to steal it again? Really? Oh, they're going to be honest this time. They wouldn't dare risk getting caught again because they got caught again. They got caught last time. And if our judicial system would have worked the way it's designed to, they would have overturned the election. This is one thing that I did not know up to a couple years ago. You think that when cases go to the Supreme Court has to hear it. Nope. You know who makes the decisions of what cases go through the Supreme Court? Interns. Interns say, well, we don't hear that. So if it's an intern who hates America and they hate freedom, then the cases that are unjustly ruled on by like the Ninth Circuit, who's wrong on everything, very, very liberal, very wacko, far left, then they'll just kick it back down. So, okay, that ruling stands. We're not going to take the case. It's like, what? What? Yeah, the Supreme Court doesn't decide what the Supreme Court hears. Interns do. That's corrupt, man. They can just decide no. And I always thought, well, the only reason they refused it because they decided that the court made the right decision to start with. No, it's just if they don't want to hear it, they can just not hear it. Nope, we just don't want to deal with it. Nope, you go do what you want to do. No, because if you can't see all the lawfare that's going on in America, the lawfare, it is. They stole Alex Jones's InfoWars. They shut the doors and put him out of business. Jesuits, Creeds, got us right. Jesuits, military order, Catholic Church. Yep. Well, I mean, listen, we can say, hey, this is the bad guy. Hey, this is the bad guy. The devil's running them all. Okay? The devil's in charge of all of them. And Candace Owens, you ever, and I do this a lot. I think to myself, the world calls these people smart. And I'm thinking, well, if they were smart, they would have known this, like Tim Pool. I voted for Obama because I thought he'd bring the country together. Well, I'm smarter than Tim Pool. Who else? Who else was it? Candace Owens. Well, I'm a Catholic and Christ is king. Well, the Catholic religion has nothing to do with Christ at all. They don't take their Bibles. The Catholic religion was started by Constantine, who wanted to win an election and take power. So he did what? He mixed worship of the sun gods, paganism, with a little bit of Christianity sprinkled on top. I'm a Catholic. Christ is king. No. The word pope is not in the Bible. The word purgatory is not in the Bible. You don't go to a man and ask for forgiveness. You don't go through a man to get to God. But these are smart people. And these same people like Mark Dice, the commentary, I'm a political analyst that does it from my kitchen. And he's on there talking about, oh gosh, I got blanked out just then. I'm concentrating on my cold food, and my food is getting cold. Everybody worshipped Lincoln like he was a great man. He murdered more people than any American war has. Lincoln was responsible for that. I guess Mark Dobbs was talking about black fatigue and white fragility and all this other stuff. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, it's true. America's turned racist because they busted Walt Disney. Disney they have a quota they have a policy, do not hire white people, do not advance white people. White males especially cannot be in positions of power. Do not promote them, do not hire them, nothing. Only people of color. And that color may be the rainbow flag as well. Please, the rainbow flag. Make sure nothing else, any substance ever brought to light actually matters. You don't have 100,000 subscribers without being owned. Well, that's true, Merle. That's absolutely true. But they won't even let me get to 1,000. They're gonna shut me down again. They'll find a reason. Like the first channel, I had 1,400. It got up to 1,400 subscribers, and I was trying. I filled out the paperwork to get monetized, and they still wouldn't even let me do anything. They wouldn't let me make a penny. And in the 1,400, they just shut the whole thing down. No warnings, no, hey, this is the guideline. You can't do this, you can't do that. Nothing, just axe the channel. And they're taking down 4 more so far. But yeah, all these smart people, and just like Mark Dicey, Lincoln's the greatest president ever. I'm like, no, he isn't. He's like, and this is what he said. He said, you guys, nobody has thanked us for the 500,000 white people that set the blacks free. That didn't happen. He said, yeah, the northern soldiers fought to set the slaves free. No, they didn't. No, and even Dinesh D'Souza, and listen, he does great work. That man is a lot smarter than me on any given day, but there's a lot of things I guarantee that he couldn't change a tire out there in the yard than I can. So there are many, many, many things that Dinesh D'Souza doesn't know, like history. He knows about the Democrat Party, but he doesn't. He's like, oh, Lincoln's main goal was to set the slaves free. No, it wasn't. Lincoln had a talk. Robert E. Lee said, I will set every slave free if it stops this war from moving forward. Looks like they could have done it. If that was the goal, it looks like they could accomplish it. No, had nothing to do about that. Nothing. But Mark Dodge, nobody's thanked the millions, the hundreds of thousands of white people that died to set the slaves free. No, it was war fatigue. After 2 years, the South was beating the North's ass, and Lincoln had to come up with something because he needed more money to keep building Chicago and keep building the North because of the high tariffs on the South. So, we're going to set the colored folk free. He didn't use that term. He used the N-word. Not that that's a bad word. Not in my world, it ain't a bad word. The N-word is not a bad word. It's said more by the victims of the N-word. Let me get to this. It keeps people who are targeted from ever coming close to sniffing something that's true. It's becoming true when someone on a screen that they like tells them target face is always ahead of time. Yep, isolation is a big part of it. 2030 own nothing, they'll love it. Yep. Well, and Barack Obama said it best. He said, imagine just dumping an overload of information on the public where it's so much they don't know what to believe. And my ex-lawyer, the one that screwed me over, he's like, I would tell him something. I told him, George Soros is a communist. He hates freedom. He hates America. He helped the Nazis round up Jews. That never happened. I said, he admitted it on 60 Minutes. No, he didn't. I showed him the video. Showed it to him. And he said, well, he didn't say he enjoyed it. I said, oh, no, right there. Let me remind you. He says, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am fond of my time doing that. Oh, well, he was just saying it to save his life. No. This is 60 years later, and he still says that's one of the fondest memories he has is turning over Jews. No, he's a humanitarian. And it's just like all the fact checkers on YouTube and Facebook, they're all the fact checkers are owned by George Soros. Snopes was a man and wife, two morbidly obese people in a mobile home. That's Snopes. And then PolitiFact, they're left wing. They're all on. I'm going to be a fact checker. Please, Democrats, send me $1 million, and I will fact check anyone you need to know. Craziness. Anyway, that's on the menu. Check back later. See you.